when they start processing it, cleaning it up, storing it, smoking it, bringing it to the market for you to be able to buy, it must have gone through a lot of processes. And unfortunately for us here in the country, some of these processes are not too hygienic. And so there's an event that's coming up that's supposed to ensure that there's some certification just to make sure that we're consuming hygienic fish and seafood, and that's the conversation we're having this morning. And so I'm sure that you'll be interested in that. Joining me, we have Mrs. Jessica Inkanta, the Director Inspectorate Directorate at the Ghana Standards Authority. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Doing well, and you?
Good, thank you very much. I like your red glasses. It's actually nice. It complements the blue dress you're wearing, eh?
Thank you.
Also, Professor Francis K. Nuno is the chair of the Fisheries Commission. Good to have you, sir. And also Grace Ayokochawi, Principal Manager at the Post-Harvest and Trade Division, Fisheries Commission. Good to have you too. And you all look well. But in having this conversation, then I noticed that there's something called the Safe Fish Certification and Licensing Scheme. And that's supposed to, you know, be a guide for a lot of the people within the industry that I've just talked about. What is it really about?
Okay, I'll take that one.
Okay.
So the Safe Fish Certification and Licensing Scheme is a scheme that intends to regulate the fish processing industry. The fact that post-processing contamination of fish, and emphasis is on smoked fish for this project for now, hopefully with time will spread to all other kinds of fish, from fresh fish to other forms of processing.
Yeah.
So the fact that smoked fish is contaminated after processing, post-processing contamination, is a well-known fact. Several studies have shown this. And everybody complains. People complain about the fact that fish meant for export is very well treated, but the one for local consumption or domestic consumption doesn't really meet the standard. So I must also say that this project was supported by USAID, Feed the Future, Ghana Fisheries Recovery Activity.
Okay.
And it was implemented by Tetra Tech and DevWorks. So with all this information around, they decided to form a multidisciplinary technical committee. So it was made with representatives from Ghana Standards Authority, the Fisheries Commission, Food and Drugs Authority, from the academia, University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, the research institutes, food research of CSIR, and representatives of all these processing activities, processing systems. So we all came together, and indeed we all agreed that there was a problem with the smoked fish in terms of contamination.
Is it just smoked fish or even the fresh fish?
No, fresh fish is actually deemed safe once it comes out of the sea.
Okay.
It is our handling processes and the technologies we use in processing it that cause it to be contaminated.
I'm asking that because you keep mentioning smoked fish, but then it's not everybody who buys smoked fish. Sometimes you go and even buy red fish right from, you know, the shores. So that's what I'm asking, that could that also be contaminated, and should we be concerned about that?
Yes. So
okay, so as soon as you take the fish from the water, immediately it comes out and it's on the boat. Contamination starts, deterioration starts because of temperature, because of the boat that they've put on. The boat is not well cleaned, and so we have microbial and other natural enzymes in the fish also are starting to deteriorate.
I see.
Okay, like human being, if you die, you start to rot.
Okay.
So the fish also start to deteriorate.
Okay.
And if we don't keep it in a cold chain, and we don't do certain things, clean the bowls, clean the boats, and then people don't step on them and all that, then the contamination is reduced.
They actually step on them.
Yes.
We're eating things.
But we eat fish to get health and to get nutrition.
Yeah.
So we don't eat fish to be contaminated and to get sick. All right. Hence the safe fish scheme.
Okay.
Please continue.
But yeah, please continue and tell me how we're going to ensure that this scheme actually works.
Okay. So I think I reached the point where I said this team was formed.
Yes.
So as you can tell, everybody who needs to make or implement change was within this team that was formed. So we came together and we decided on what to do. We used Codex Standard, which is an internationally accepted standard, as the basis for training.
Yeah.
So all the things that Prof. Nunu mentioned, we've trained the the processes in it, how to handle the fish. So right from when it's caught, what do you do to either eliminate or minimize contamination? So how you handle it, even when you've smoked it, what are the sources of contamination? If flies have access, they will land on it to contaminate the fish. If there are rodents or pests in there, if there are animals, if you don't even wash your hands well, it could be a source of contamination. So all these, the processes were trained in all these activities. And after training, you can't just leave them like that. You have to determine whether the training has been effective. So we gave them some time to implement it, and then we went back unannounced to audit it.
Okay.
And we realized that indeed they had caught on. But it just didn't happen like that. It's been training, retraining, refresher training, on and on and on. And we've got to this point. It's been about 5 years in the making.
5 years?
Yes.
Oh,
Implementing
wow.
change isn't that easy.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a while. But now they have caught on. So the first audits, we had 13 people who met all the criteria and were awarded certificates.
Okay.
Initially, the certificates were known as the Class 1 certificates, but it's been rebranded. And that is where the answer to your question is. It's been rebranded to the Safe Fish Certification and Licensing Scheme.
Okay.
Licensing, because that will be an FDA activity. So we are encouraging them to even go further than selling in the open market, to pre-packaging their fish for sale. So for that, as a statutory requirement, they would need FDA numbers, FDA approval. So that's the progressive licensing scheme from FDA. The certification, GSA is there. GSA is interested in exports. We would certify their exports. We would certify, so with all the open markets that are coming in, the African continental and all those, we are encouraging them to veer into those areas. So as the name implies, all the Fisheries Commission also has a very big role to play,
yes.
Because when it comes to the domestic markets, they would be there regulating it. So this is a different kind of project because the project has been institutionalized. So now everybody owns a part of it. So
and everyone has to make sure they
everybody
do their
has
part.
to. So
and
if you don't,
then
you'll be
you're
a
in trouble.
weak
And we
link.
have to do our part as citizens. Of course, we may not have the requisite knowledge in the scheme and how it works, but at least when I go to the market and I want to buy fish, I need to know whether what I'm buying is safe or not. How are you even able to tell? Because we will look for the smoked fish that has a bit of oil, and when it's bigger, even better. That's what we'll buy. But how do you know that what you're taking home is safe, Grace?
Okay, so building from what she said, the certification is to regulate the processing industry.
You need to speak up a bit, please.
Sorry, the certification is to regulate the processing industry to make sure that the products that come from their processing facilities are safe for consumption. And so when you go to the market, we have numbers that we give to the certification, the labels. So you check their packages, those that package their product.
Are you saying that every market woman has to package a product now?
Well, moving forward, that's what Fisheries Commission we are also trying to teach them how to label and package. Because as she said, we are not only looking at the fish processors selling on the local market, we're also looking at the fish processor earning more income and selling on the formal market like supermarkets and then the malls. So the certification is just, the safe fish is just a base. So we encourage, after you get the certification, you go further to FDA to get a progressive license. That's the FDA number on your product that will enable you to sell in the supermarket. So with that one, you get, you find the certification number on it to assure you that the product is coming from a certified facility. And so the fish is safe for consumption. Also, Fisheries Commission, we are trying to liaise with the District Assembly where we want them to give us designated space in the market that we can market the certified product. So when you go to the market, you have a particular place that is designated for the certified fish. Like we also be doing consumer sensitization and all that, so that when you go to the market you see.
Prof, that means we're going to buy fish at a higher price. Because if the supermarket owner or whoever it is, or a market woman or the processor has to go through all these stages just to get the certified label on their fish, they'll tell us that after all that sacrifice, if I was selling for 35, I'll sell it to you at 50.
The difference will not be that much.
Okay.
Not 35 to 50.
Okay, but at least it will increase.
Small.
But my salary is still the same.
But small compared to your health. Your health. When you are sick, your productivity goes down, and all that. Your home becomes a mess and all that. So basically, the little amount that you are going to pay does not compare to your health, and some can even lead to lethality. And then for a long, these diseases are slow. You can get cancer over a long period after eating fish that has a lot of black pH on it and all that. So going through this process and making sure that your fish is clean is wonderful. Just a little bit.
But the thing is, we've been eating this fish every day of our lives. We go to the market, we buy, we come and cook, and we eat. We are not dead. Why are you changing the status quo now?
The thing might be there slowly growing. When you are, let's say, some particular age, not my age, some particular age, then it starts
not
to get...
Not your age, you want to exempt yourself. This one is not individual bondholders, so forget that one.
So at some point, then you are getting, some of these things are carcinogenic.
Yeah.
And at some point, then you get all this manner of diseases, which is a drain on national economy and all that. We want to protect the people.
So it's compulsory. Everybody has to.
Over time.
For now, it's voluntary. Okay. But we are hoping that with time, people, not just the processors, but even the consumers would see the benefit of it and then opt for that one.
Okay.
And to add to what he was saying about the extra money, the little premium that will be added to it, it is value for money. I mean, now there's traceability. You can tell whose kitchen or whose factory it is coming from, and there can be a complaint or something like that lodged. So it is value for money, and it is worth the little extra. It's very minimal.
Yeah. So how much do I have to pay? Or not me necessarily, but if I have some auntie or uncle somewhere who is in the business of buying and selling fish, and they have to now get their certification, how much would it cost them?
For now,
FDA charges only 50 cedis for the license. Only 50 cedis. For the licensing. For the licensing.
And you're telling me that if it's 35 cedis,
no. That's for the license, and the license for the whole year.
The 50 is subsidized by the government.
And then you get a fish that has got when it was caught, who caught it, how they process it, everything. The
who caught his name will be there too.
Everything.
His name will be on the fish that I buy. So in case something goes wrong, I can walk to
and go to him.
Even better.
You know something, the benefit to the processor is also huge, because the processor get access to wider markets, international markets, and it's also extra income for the processor. So we encourage all the processors to get on board.
Definitely. So there's an event that's taking place tomorrow. Quick one at Alisa Hotel. This is for the launch of the scheme. Yes. Okay, if you can just make this brief for me. My time is up. We have to go. All
right. So to create national awareness of the home scheme, we'll be launching it tomorrow at Alisa Hotel.
Okay.
It will be around 9 a.m. And then there will be exhibition of some of the certified product.
Okay.
We'll have some fish processors coming to exhibit their fish. And then we also have the regulators, the 3 regulators that came together to do the scheme.
Okay.
That's Ghana Standards Authority, Food and Drugs Authority, and Fisheries Commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's happening tomorrow at Alisa Hotel from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. we're told. And the theme
will be wonderful.
is safe fish, better health. Go and see packaging.
Yeah.
You will see Nilay's name there. He is the one that cuts the fish. It's important for me.
And the Chefs Association will be there.
They'll be there as well.
Yes, giving us very nice recipes that we can use with this.
I'll be there.
Shall I give you the theme?
Yes.
Safe fish, better health.
Safe fish, better health. Pay a little more for your fish and make sure that you're healthy. That's the most important thing. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Maybe later we'll have an extended conversation about this. But joining me in the studios this morning, I've had Mrs. Jessica Nkanta, Director, Inspectorate Directorate, Ghana Standards Authority, and also Professor Francis K. Nunu is the Chair of the Fisheries Commission. He's joined by the Principal Manager for Post-Harvest and Trade Division at the Fisheries Commission, Grace Ayoko Chawe. Thank you so much. Grace, then you understand this conversation because you are from the show now. Anyway.